Let's quickly take a look at the kind of difference Tomahawk cruise missiles could have in this conflict. First, they would give Ukraine's military the capability to hit deeper into Russian territory, hundreds of kilometers, in fact, giving it a powerful and highly accurate new weapon to target key infrastructure. So, for more on what we should be looking for from the Trump-Zelenskyy meeting, we've reached Arseniy Yatsenyuk. He's a former Prime Minister of Ukraine. He joins us now from Lviv in the west of that country. Thank you for joining us once again. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Arthur.
So let's begin with this meeting. What, on the onset of it all, what is at stake here?
Can I jump back on the issue of Tomahawks? Your journalist in D.C. questioned the efficiency of Tomahawks. He said that we need some kind of additional munitions to launch these Tomahawks. That's not really true. The U.S. Marine Corps decommissioned a number of land launch pads for these Tomahawks, and it is very efficient missile. And the thing is that Ukraine, this is not a game changer, but this is the way how to target Russian military facilities on a long range. In terms of the meeting between my president and President Trump, I hope that this one would definitely go well, because we've expected a number of good meetings in the last few months. It's completely different than we saw during this dressing down 6 or 8 months ago. I missed actually the time. But the thing is that what kind of deliverables would be? Because look what happened with Putin. Putin applied a copycat scenario that he made before the Anchorage, completely the same. As Trump threatened both to impose sanctions and to provide the long-range missiles to Ukraine, Putin initiated urgently a telephone call, because it was Russia who actually reached out to President Trump to get this kind of telephone call. So he wants to derail Ukraine's U.S. efforts to really provide an additional power to Ukraine to win this war. And he wants to avoid sanctions. That's my reading.
You know, you started by talking about the capacity of these cruise missiles. That certainly is going to be part of the ask we've seen from Zelenskyy as he heads over to the White House. How optimistic are you that he will be successful in convincing the U.S. president that this should be part of the Ukrainian weapon package from the United States, particularly when we're discussing what has happened in the last 24 hours, and that's that conversation with Vladimir Putin? What will Zelenskyy have to do?
Well, the good news is that Zelenskyy got along with Trump. And that's the very reason why designated war criminal Putin started to be very nervous. What Zelenskyy should tell to President Trump, the same narrative. Zelenskyy is always telling the truth, what's happening on the battlefield and what's happening in the world. So whether we can get these Tomahawks, you're absolutely right, it's just a piece of the puzzle. I am more concerned about an overall picture, so of the bigger, broader scope. So where the U.S. stands right now. There was a very clear-cut U-turn on the side of the President Trump when he said that Ukraine could regain an entire territory with the help of the European Union and NATO. And the United States is a member of NATO. It's actually a linchpin of NATO. So the question I have, whether President Trump has completely realized that Putin played him, that Putin wants to humiliate the United States and the President of the United States, that Putin is dragging his feet, and the only reason why Putin reached out to Trump is that he wants to avoid sanctions. He wants to actually get the similar result that he had in Anchorage. He wants to postpone the decision of the United States to provide the long-range missiles to Ukraine. And he actually wants to make some kind of another chaos. We know all these KGB-style stunts and tricks. And that's what Putin is doing right now. Look at the language of Putin. It's full of flattery, you know, very lavish, positive signals to President Trump, because all these psychological departments of the FSB, they are working hard on every single message which is to be delivered to President Trump. So to put it in a nutshell, my president will have, I hope, a very good chat with President Trump. I hope that President Trump has realized that there is no way, just no way, to have another Anchorage. I hope that President Trump will be decisive in defending the national security interests of the United States, and the best way to defend this interest is to help Ukraine. And in terms of all these negotiating or delaying tactics of Putin, I hope that they will be on the same page with my president and Europeans. The only viable solution which could be on the table is unconditional ceasefire, period.
And Mr. Yatsenyuk, in the final 60 seconds that I have with you here, I wanted to ask you, we know that the U.S. president has been saying that he thought he would be able to resolve this conflict, in fact, faster than involvement of a ceasefire in the Middle East. Why do you think this has proven to be difficult to that end when it comes to the U.S. president trying to apply pressure on both sides to end the conflict?
This is an existential conflict. Look, all these conflicts, they are existential. But the thing is that Russia is armed to the teeth country that wants to annihilate an entire Ukraine and the Ukrainian nation. So President Trump applied pressure to both sides in Gaza, and I hope that this will deliver security to the state of Israel, and this will bring Palestinian people closer to a real independent state without Hamas and terrorists. In terms of Ukraine, so Putin wants to conquer Ukraine, to undermine the European Union, to undermine NATO, to humiliate the United States, and Putin is not alone. Putin is working on behalf and actually under the shelter of China. So the conflict that is in Europe right now, this is a global conflict with Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. Three of them, practically four of them, have nukes. And that's the very reason why it's a hard toil to solve this conflict. But the thing is that we can win this war. And the only thing what is needed right now, bold, strong actions on the side of our Western partners.
Mr. Yatsenyuk, I appreciate your thoughts on this today. We always appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you.